It's finally here, folks. Welcome to the release version of Sim Update 5. Well, sort of. This footage is actually from the very last beta, but it's looking pretty damn fine if you ask me, especially when you consider we are back in the Pimax Crystal Lite, recording of course, and using not my 5090 PC, but actually this is an RTX 5070 GPU rocking an Intel 1440 base CPU. You can grab this very computer from Stormforce right now with my discount code, and you know what? For the price, it's exceptional. Look at this, we're getting 50 frames per second in VR right now whilst flying in Scotland. Later on we do the stress test as we fly over London City, and I'll also talk about the best VR settings for this type of system with a high-end headset like this, and not to mention I'll also show you how to update the very latest DLSS drivers the easy way. So all that to come, folks, but just enjoy as we fly down this valley as we head towards the majestic Glenfinnan Viaduct. It's an absolutely stunning run, this, and I can't believe I'm getting 50 odd frames per second here with this computer. Very impressive, and that is thanks to Sim Update 5. Let's just quickly talk about some of the major deals here. I will leave the release notes in the description below. I won't go into everything here, otherwise we will be here until next Friday. But it's all about that PSVR 2 support, which I am going to do in a separate video to see if things have changed. But what that means is that extra polish on the PSVR 2 support is going to trickle into the PC VR side, and it really does show. There's a lot more stability overall, and the performance is so much better than it used to be. The foveated region box, that is for both fixed and dynamic foveated rendering, is all but invisible now. You can still see it in certain scenarios, of course, and you may argue it's a bit more aggressive, but that's because it works better. But you can now, with an eye tracked headset, really bring that box in and enjoy a lot more performance. Here with the Crystal Lite, it does not have eye tracking, but I can still bring it into about 35 to 40 and get a good 10 to 15 frames per second back in VR. That's a big deal, and it works much better than it used to. And make sure you stick around to the end, because I am going to show you my VR settings that I recommend for this type of setup. Just look at this, nice and low and very smooth frame rate, I must say. With the Crystal Lite, this is the first time I've used this headset in, well, a long time, and I am blown away with it. I did not expect it to look this sharp, and I'm not even running it at full native resolution here, and I still highly recommend this as the best sort of affordable high-end headset out there. It beats the pants off the Quest 3, folks, it really does. That QLED panel, the local dimming, the 2880 by 2880 non-compressed visuals are just something that even today truly impress me. So apart from the obvious VR and stability improvements, and of course the PSVR 2 support, I really like how we've got a new weather radar tilt functionality. I know it's a bit of a minor thing for some of you, but for hardcore flight sim fans like me that really enjoy really looking at the weather and flying all over the world, having that extra bit of realism there with the systems is a big deal. Talking of the weather, especially the live weather, I do feel that's been improved quite a lot, particularly turbulence in cloud. The overall depiction of different weather scenarios look a lot more convincing and tend to have a bit more cloud types in them as well. I do feel though that for some reason visibility is not handled very well in the sim still, and often in the UK, even on a really bright sunny day, you'll be lucky to see further than 15 miles, but in the sim you can sometimes see 100 miles ahead of you, which is very unrealistic. Please sort that out, Sabo. Anyway, let's now do the stress test. We're in the Coronado Premiere, I think it's called, or something like that anyway, and this is over full photogrammetry whilst recording using this RTX 5070 base system with the Crystal Lite, which does pack quite a punch and still has a very high resolution. Because of those aspheric lenses, you do need to account for barrel distortion correction a bit more than a pancake lens. But I think you'll agree this performance is pretty impressive indeed. Very nice, and even though sometimes we're down to 35 frames per second, this is a flight simulator. You don't need 90 frames per second in order for it to feel smooth. It's all about frame timing and good setup, providing your PC with plenty of headroom for this type of environment. And it's a worst case scenario. If you can get 35-40 frames per second here, especially this low to the ground, I would not recommend it, then you're definitely good to go anywhere else. I always say London City or Geneva or New York is the stress test zone. If you can fly there, you can fly anywhere. So it has to be said, credit where credit is due. I often moan at Asobo for getting things wrong, but overall, it's not perfect. I don't think it ever will be. This is a complex thing to do with your personal computer, folks. Think of this as lots of noughts and ones, lots of code on your computer that's providing this, what you're seeing right now. I think it's already pretty damn impressive. They have done a really good job. So my last little scenario here, just before we show the settings and making sure you've got your correct DLSS version all ready to go. We're now in Ireland, and as you can see here, back to some very nice frames per second here. And I will say something that may upset some of you. Yes, this is more expensive than the PS5 and PSVR 2, but you're talking of only around £500 to £600 more, especially if you don't bother with a Crystal Light. If you go for a Quest 2 perhaps, or a Rift S or Quest 3, all in, it's probably around £1,700–1,800. That extra bit of money makes a night and day difference. It's just a huge improvement. However, I think it's absolutely fantastic that Asobo has managed to put this whole sim onto a console and include VR. And I think for many of you, especially starting out, it'll be enough for you to get that interest in the hobby and get you on your way for a much better price point. But let's hope they can improve it a bit more. Like I say, a dedicated PSVR 2 impressions video will be coming as well to see if anything's changed at all with the final release. So look out for that. So let's just look at my settings for the Pimax Crystal Light first. Go to device settings, and here you'll see we're running at 90 Hz. I personally feel 72 is a bit stroby for me. Now onto the image quality settings. I'm running at 80% resolution here with a sharpening of 0.6. And even though we're not running at full native resolution here, it's plenty sharp enough. It looks really good, and you could feasibly run at locked frame rate, half of the refresh rate of your headset. I didn't do it in this test so I can show you the raw frames, but 45 frames per second is actually way smoother than 52 or 53 frames per second. That's important. And then let's have a look at the DLSS swapper. I'll have a link in the description below where to find it. Just click on the sim there, and all you need to do is navigate to the correct file. In this case, it's the top one. Click swap, it'll automatically download it, so you're running the very latest DLSS 4.5 driver. This is important for 50 series cards, particularly for this card as well. You could run the preset L or M, but if you're rocking a 30 or 40 series card, I would recommend sticking with preset J or K. And even with a 50 series card, preset K and J does look a bit sharper, but you get more ghosting. Here's my favorited rendering scale at 0.4 in this case, or 40. And these are my VR settings. Did you think they were this low? Looking at that footage you've just seen. The settings can be this low, but still look absolutely beautiful. And I would recommend to keep those settings low. You won't notice the real drop off in performance, but you will notice the very nice smoothness in the sim. And in conclusion then, Sim Update 5 is here, and overall I'm quite impressed. What about you? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. This PC is available on next day delivery, and with my discount code I've got to say it's a very good deal for an affordable high-end system that can run high-end headsets. So I have discounts for that, as well as the Crystal Light, among many other things. So fill your boots. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.